Here on our Advanced Options tab, we first see the option to enable the hardware decoding if you're using a GPU for transcoding. This is gone over in more detail in the video encoder settings video on this playlist. And underneath that, we have the option for overriding the default FFmpeg transcode settings. These options are typically for more advanced users, and some basic understanding of FFmpeg commands is required. And on the left is a link for the FFmpeg documentation. I won't be going into detail about specific options, but let's take a look at an example for entering these options in the dialog box. Take for instance the example above the box, FFmpeg, there's the input tag, and here's the path to the input video file, and then we've got our different options. So there's the hide banner option, log level info, strict to, max muxing, queue size, map, etc., etc. So if there's a specific option that you'd like to put in there, each option from the syntax of the FFmpeg command should be entered on its own line here. Once applied, these settings will persist for all future files, if applicable, that are queued up by Unmanic. Just remember to restart the container to apply them to the current pending files. Before applying any new settings here, I recommend pointing your library path in the General Settings tab to one particular folder of a file that you can test with. This may also be a helpful method if there are only certain files that you'd like the custom option to apply to. For example, isolating the library path to one or more 4K files would be one scenario. Or if you've got a particular file that won't convert with the default Unmanic settings, and that might be solved by adding an additional FFmpeg option, pointing to that individual file path would be another scenario where that's helpful. Also keep in mind that the custom FFmpeg options do not overwrite all of the other Unmanic settings. And last but not least, always be sure to read the warning labels. Modifying any container, video encoding, or audio encoding settings in the other tabs may reset these options altogether. So if you make any changes on any of the other tabs, be sure to save them and then come back to the Advanced Options tab. Make sure you've got this enabled, restart the container. Make sure you still see these there after you've made changes in the other tabs, and you should be good to go.